Hello, Alicia, and hello again, I guess. This is the second video I've made for you. I'm glad to hear that they're helpful. And I hope, at your most recent submission for the milestone, or for the inline styling. This will be feedback for week 3, but I also will address the wireframes that you made last week. And I'll end with the journal on characterizing your client in the market research. In general, I follow the rubrics pretty carefully, and if you want to open up the rubrics for any particular assignment, you can just follow down. Now for 3.2 and 3.3, I believe it's a binary rubric. There's two rubric requirements, I guess, per assignment, and so anyway, I do follow the rubrics though, if that's of any help to you. Alicia, these are fine for web sketches or for wireframe sketches. There really is no purpose served in making them more detailed. In general, I like the ones where the logo and the navigation fall at the top. I think running the logo up the side here might look awkward, so I would avoid doing that. Then the other one I have from you, of course, is this one. And here the navigation ranges down the side. I would go for some kind of hybrid, perhaps where the logo is smaller, but up here and ranging to the left of the navigation. I like the idea that you're going to use like one image, some body copy. I think keep it simple, or have one large image per page that bleeds off perhaps the top and the bottom and the right. Start thinking about a footer. That is also a legitimate part of a web page. You've got the head, you've got the body, and the footer. Typically in the footer you put social media, web revision dates, and sometimes another version of the HTML sitemap. So Alicia, I see that you're understanding how to organize your web server. You've got a week 3 folder. What happens, I'm just curious, what happens if I go here? Okay, great. So I see that you've set up a mod 3, mod 4. That's great. This will keep your index pages free and clear. Now let's see what we get here. When I go to, can I preview it? Oh yes, okay, here we go. Alright, some styling going on here for week 4. Well, I realize that you may still be working on it, so I shouldn't jump the gun here, but you've got the idea. And let me go to mod 3. You've applied some inline styling. I see that in your notes, your meta notes, you've made some extensive comments on color and so forth. Here is that script that GeoCities places on your pages by default. Just want you to know that if you live view your code, you're going to see this. It makes your page identifiable as well as searchable. Here's something else that GeoCities will put on your page, telling you that they are hosting you. And I think that's that's what you get. Nothing is free, right? You just have to live with that. I don't think it's harmful. Over in this corner of Safari, I'm using Safari Develop View Source. Most web browsers have this capacity. Some, I could even live edit the code if I had, the password to your server. In this area, it gives me some idea of your file structure. It would show up all directories and files in here. Anything that's public designated. So anyway, great. The rubric for this is pretty simple. There's 2 categories. I think the first is, have you applied inline styling to the heads, and you have. Some color, and you've started to think about typeface. It could use a little bit of improvement though. You haven't used the typeface, which I believe is Gaudi, or have you? Gaudi and Athelas are the typefaces for town. You've started to think about a CSS, an external CSS. That's good, just as long as you understand that there's inline styling, which is what this exercise is about. There's an embedded style sheet, and then finally there's the most desirable, which is an external CSS. You have been able to upload. Good going. That's been such a challenge for so many people. I'm glad to see that you have been able to do that. So I think you're well on the way. Hope you're feeling confident. I'm going to go on to the milestone. Alicia, you have both a visual sitemap and a coded sitemap, so good going. And then, let's see, you have a screenshot of your GeoCities file structure and a screenshot of your desktop file structure, I'm presuming. And it looks like they match. So, things have to match in name, file names have to be the same, individual names, and they have to be in the same place. I think you've got that. You've got that idea. Good going. And your sitemap, which will become the basis for your navigation scheme. Let's see what we got here. You've got the home page, and the other page is the menu page, about page, contact page. That's all you'll need. Chapter 2, HTML5 Foundations, is the chapter, I think, to look at to find out how you transition from an unordered list or sitemap to a full-blown navigation scheme. Alicia, you methodically answer the first several discussion board or journal prompts, and in the questions that you would ask of a focus group or the questions you would ask of a client. Think about other stakeholders such as kitchen staff, wait staff, especially if there's an online order or takeout feature. What I was missing, I think, from your market research was other options for research. Bear in mind that there's Google Analytics, there's the U.S. Census, which is free and available to just about anybody. There's also Nielsen, and there's also little apps such as SurveyMonkey, which allows you to make surveys with a focused audience, So think about all the alternatives to doing market research, and it's important, some of the basic ones you've mentioned, that is just hoofing it and seeing what's in the area for competitors. That's certainly still valid.